So before we jump in the conversation, I just want to put in like the last piece into our puzzle today, um, because like we didn't explain like who we are about we who we are that we can tell you so many things about PEDs. So I would just tell you a little bit about Bable, just 1-2 slides, and also just give you a small input there. I will share my screen too. So basically, um, what we do, so what our team of 26 people now wants to do is we are driving change or the change for a better urban life. So that's our main purpose, that's our main goal. And how are we reaching that? So we try to simplify urban innovation and facilitate smart city implementation. Also, we try to solve the most pressing urban challenges in cities, and also we want to create healthier and livable and more sustainable cities. And to really reach that goal of driving the change, we have I would call 3 pillars, and these are 3 steps towards the goal of like really having that better urban life. Is like the first is that people need to learn smart city. So this is our lowest, the one in the bottom right. Like people need to understand what is a smart city, what is energy, what means energy in a smart city, all those things. Um, and then the second step is that you need to connect the right people. Therefore, we have this platform. Gretel showed some stuff to you already, and also um, Nikita showed the use cases there. And at the end, also you need to really do um, the you need to do like projects. So every time when we brought the right partners together, we also support them in that project to make it really a success. And therefore, we have the platform, we have a digital toolbox, we have expert consultancy and smart city training. And what you heard from Nikita in the morning is part of our smart city training with a focus on energy. And I just want to also say that here on this side that this is something where we have 26 different modules available for everybody, where we can teach this topic. And I think important. So we come from the concept of smart cities, but this is just a buzzword for all the new developments to tackle all the challenges in cities nowadays. And also just a side note from my side. So next week I will be teaching a 2-day smart city training together with TÜV Süd Academy. And if you have any interest in learning more on smart city, how it is implemented, how it is financed, how you need to do your policies to really realize all those projects which make the city more livable, please just feel free to sign up and to join. And my last part from this year, I want to share very briefly and very shortly the platform. So, for example, if you log in, if you want to know something about, let's say, district and energy, then you can just go on the Bable platform and search for it, and then you can see here, for example, we have open district heat examples for so use case for open district heating, then examples for retrofitting, smart local thermal districts. All those things you can find on this platform, and it's very helpful and very interesting when you start planning projects, when you're searching for partners, when you're also searching for new projects, for example, or when you say, hey, we have a product or something which solves a challenge in the city, and we are trying to approach others. So there's the right place here where you can place where you can find information, but also show what you can do. So that's all from the side from Bable. So what we are doing and why we really know all of this stuff, because we do projects in many different parts of Europe. I have one more slide prepared for the footprint. So we did projects in 30 countries already in Europe, and so just to know that. And one thing, one project I want to show you now is the Sparks project together with a partner from citycon, and I'm now happy to bring to have Kaisa on stage and also Gretel, so that we can have a nice discussion on positive energy districts and also really the realization. So first of all, hello Kaisa. Kaisa is a project manager at the development team from citycon. She will also introduce a little bit more what citycon is in a second, and also she will tell us about the project. It's called Lippulaiva. I hope I pronounced it well. And we will have a short tour, a short virtual tour through Lippulaiva.
Yes, thank you, Pierre. I'm happy to be here. And greetings from Espoo. I'm in the office at the moment and haven't been here not that often this year. I guess it's quite common at the moment. And should I now present a little bit about citycon and Lippulaiva project? I guess this is the place. Yes. Yeah, I can. Yeah, citycon is a real estate company, and we own 40 shopping centers in Northern Europe. So we have in Finland, Sweden, Norway, Estonia, and Denmark. And we have a portfolio value of 4.4 billion euros. So it's a large company, and our strategy is to concentrate not only in shopping in our centers, but more urban centers like city centers. So we have a lot of other services as well for our customers, then not only retail and shopping. And Lippulaiva is a good example of our strategy. So at the moment, or actually Lippulaiva is an old shopping center, and it's located in Espoo. Espoo is a city next to Helsinki, so it's a capital area in southern Finland. And a few years back, citycon decided to rebuild and demolish the old Lippulaiva and rebuild the new one. And the reason for that was that Espoo City decided to extend the one and only metro line in Helsinki area, and we will have a new metro station in Lippulaiva block. And so that was the starting point where citycon decided to build the whole new Lippulaiva block, and it's a much larger than the earlier Lippulaiva was. We are expecting 8 million customers yearly, and we will have 44 square meters of leasable area. And Pierre is sharing our virtual model of Lippulaiva. So because of this corona pandemic situation all over the world, we have invented some new ways to present our project, because we cannot invite people to visit our construction site at the moment, for example. And it would be normally in normal world we would invite residents and customers to visit our construction site, but now we are doing it in a virtual way. Unfortunately, all the text is in Finnish language, but you can visit in this virtual room. So this shows you a bit what we are constructing at the moment. So the largest side of Lippulaiva is 500 meters. So the Lippulaiva block, as I like to call it, it's a large project. We will have a shopping center with grocery stores, retail, but we also will have library, offices, kindergarten, and we are also building 8 residential buildings at the same time, and there will also be a senior house on the top of the Lippulaiva. And metro is going underline Lippulaiva, and you can enter metro in every entrance. And we also will have a bus terminal there, so it's a crossing point of people, Espoo people going there. And what else? In Sparks, so Lippulaiva is one of the demo sites of Sparks project, and there citycon is concentrating on energy system, sustainable energy systems, and mobility, and also citizen engagement. So all the main themes of Sparks. And if I understood correctly, there are energy people in the audience. So my background is also in energy systems, and I've actually been working in Fortum. I guess many, or at least some of the German people know Fortum nowadays. And I've been working with district heating systems previously, and I have also been a researcher, and actually my PhD work was concerning about district heating. But at that point when I was doing that, I realized that maybe real estate owners want to have new solutions in energy. So that was one reason why I'm working in a real estate company at the moment. So in citycon actually has a sustainability strategy. So we have a strategy to be carbon neutral in 2030, and Lippulaiva is also a good example of that. So in the first day, so in the beginning of the Lippulaiva, we are opening in next year, April. So from the first day, we are going to be carbon neutral. So we have a huge geothermal energy plant in Lippulaiva block. We have 171 geo wells underneath our center. So it makes 50 kilometers of geothermal wells, and we have 4 megawatt heating capacity with the heat pump system that we are having. Of course, our purpose is to use as less energy as possible. So we are having an energy efficient building, and we are recycling waste heat, or so-called waste heat, that we will have from our grocery stores, for example, and cooling. But then the rest of the thermal energy we will have is coming from our own on-site energy system for heating and cooling. Cooling is 100% from our own system, and heating is almost 100%. Of course, we don't have any data yet because we are still constructing, but we are expecting something like 95-98% heating coming from our own sites. And then we also have a PV system, as much as solar panels as possible on the roof and also in the facade of the building. So, and actually today I got really good news from the ministry of one of the ministries in Finland. Our government have decided to support one of the large investment that we are doing to our Lippulaiva. So we will have a microgrid system with battery energy storage and PVs and smart control strategy systems to our energy system in Lippulaiva. And we've been waiting this decision for a long time, and we've been working a lot with it. And today morning, I got the news that the ministry in Finland, Finnish ministry, has signed the support for us. We are happy for that. So, is there some questions, or?
I think we can just start or continue with the conversation now. So thank you, first of all, for this lovely introduction into what you're doing. So I think one thing I just want to highlight here is that uh, we have a real estate company doing forefront work in building a sustainable district or a sustainable block. So this is very interesting. So they are not doing energy for centuries or like for years. So it's really something new, and I think this is very good and very bold from citycon that you're doing this. And what I'm now interested a little bit is into like getting to know a little bit more on like what you did there. And you told already in your introduction is like that you chose geothermal energy for the main energy source. And like what were the factors that lead you to that decision to choose this and or like also to choose this mix?
Yeah, it's the decision has been made already years ago, so it's a long process. And traditionally in Finland, we have a high share of or market share in heating with district heating. So overall in Finland, it's something about 50% of heating is coming from district heating. But in large cities such as Helsinki or Espoo, in Espoo I think it's over 70%. So that would be the traditional way in Finland to have it. And we have actually quite efficient district heating systems. We have CHP plants, and how I see it, historical data shows that district heating price has been increasing, and there are challenges to have like carbon neutral solutions with district heating, since in large cities, of course, it depends where you are, or every system are different. But in large cities, at least, we still have coal power plants, and we have gas burning. They are CHP plants, but still the fuel is wrong if you want to be carbon neutral. So it's kind of against the sustainability strategy that citycon is having. So I would say one, of course, is the carbon neutrality targets that citycon has, and other one is profitability. So we already have solutions that are profitable for the customers, such as real estate companies. So other than district heating. So that's for sure the two main reasons. And I would say that citycon wants to be a forerunner also in these solutions.
Super good. And now we on the other side we have Gretel joining here, and maybe also you can share some insights on like how to choose the right technology, because like at the moment there are many different solutions you can choose on the market to become a carbon neutral or to become even energy positive. Like, is there a structured way, or like do you have any advice like what could be useful steps for people in our audience now which say, hey, we are at the point where we can start this project?
Yeah, well, that's not a simple question. I think there are several factors that are involved when you have to think, well, what solutions or what of these technologies could be implemented. And first of all, one has like a very fundamental, basic question: what do you want to achieve? Because I think, of course, we have like different technologies that have to do with energy generation, energy efficiency, and I think it's fundamental to look at, first of all, as I was saying, what do you want to achieve and what goals do you want to achieve. I think it's something that you cannot see from only one side, especially companies now are, of course, constrained by the decisions that cities and states are making, and this quest towards carbon neutrality is something that has to be a joint effort, also as Nikita was mentioning at the beginning. So when we look at it at this carbon neutrality, we cannot look at only one sector perspective, but even when we are looking at energy, we cannot only look at energy generation, but we have to look at also efficiency, the user's behavior. So we have to really go into this more holistic perspective on how to plan and decide for these solutions. And in that sense, I think there is no solution that fits all. So we have to be aware that not all solutions can be replicated everywhere. And also that these solutions or some of these can be adapted to the local needs. So in some cases, we will need more energy or like more measures towards energy efficiency in case that we have like older buildings or like, you know, where the challenges lie more in that area. And again, this cannot exclude other measures, and definitely the role of the users and how we interact with the users and the changing the behaviors of the users has to play a key role in choosing how we move forward.
Perfect. So you already said that it's not super easy, so that you need to have like a holistic view and that you always need a bundle of objectives. This directly leads me to the engagement of different stakeholders and also the bringing up partners, doing it not alone. So maybe Kaisa, are you doing the project alone, or are you building together with partners?
We are building together with partners. So we are not investing ourselves. We have an energy partner, Adven. Adven is also a partner in Sparks, and Adven is investing and like we are buying energy as we use from them. So they are taking care of everything, and in that way, that's. And the same goes with the microgrid system. So we are working there together with another company, but with a partner.
Okay. Yes. And Gretel, are there any other partners someone should consider when building up a new district or like renewing a district?
Yes, definitely. And I think also from what Kaisa was saying, it's very interesting because in this project, we see how also Espoo, as like the leading city in this case, brings together all these actors. And when they think about the implementation, they do not only think about projects that the city will be leading, but other companies like Kaisa's company is doing. I think that's a really interesting approach for cities to think about, and also for companies to think about this cooperation. And I think maybe one element to make this conversation a little bit more complex is now when we are thinking about this energy transition and also transitioning our energy systems into more dispersed systems or decentralized systems, where we're thinking that the users or consumers will have a more active role, we cannot exclude them. So we really have to think about how we make sure that users or citizens are part of this conversation, and also from the design until the very end of the projects, how we make sure that, you know, it's not only that we will install all the technical systems, but that also their views on how these systems are designed and implemented are taking. And the same goes with like this, those that will be generating energy and consuming the energy, but all these different actors. So you have to take into consideration the energy companies, those that are producing the energy or managing the energy systems. And I think also these new perspectives towards decentralized energy systems are creating newer roles. So we are thinking the role of aggregators. So if there are more people who are producing energy in a more localized way, if they want to sell outside, are they going to sell individually, or is there going to be someone who will play this role of mediating the energy market? So there are many roles that are even being created in a way now. And I think that's important, that this conversation does not happen with only one actor, but there is this variety of actors that need to be in place to make sure that the transition happens as fast as it can happen, and in the most structured manner in a way. And I think if you exclude some of these actors, you may come across some challenges that they are facing to perform that role in this transition.
So we have a complex challenge and a complex topic here, and I think at the end, I like your thinking that we need to think about the roles of the actors, or that we also need to define the roles for the transition. So that's also maybe so like one of the key takeaways for today is like, okay, the roles are not all defined, so we need to talk to all those the stakeholders there and come up with a good solution. We also have a question from the audience, or from Anne, and the question is that is going into the direction of the citizens. So, what are directions from the inhabitants or from the citizens of the project cities? Do they really notice a change in their everyday life? Maybe Gretel, you can start. Do they really notice that in such projects, or is it always like people don't realize anything, that there is like that the whole district is carbon neutral?
I think the experiences we have seen in other projects is that, especially because these projects have taken into consideration of the involvement of the citizens at a very early stage, is that they have managed to include also their concerns or challenges or views that people presented into the very design of the technology. So I can remember now one example of one building renovation in one of the cities. It's a different project, and they really consulted the people on these different functions that they wanted the system to perform, or how they wanted to see that in the final design of the technology. And I think that's something that has been proven, that people, once they are engaged early and they understand also what they are engaged, or what are all these changes, because they could also be negative views or misunderstandings on why things are changing. But once you engage early, you communicate early what you are aiming to do, and also are open and flexible to change some aspects based on the feedback you get. I think that's something that really helps projects to be successful, and it may take time at the beginning to really go through this engagement process, but also at the end, it makes the process smoother, so with less challenges along the way. And I think that's the learning that definitely takes time and efforts from the different project leads, but at the end it pays off, and people do see the changes and benefits once you really engage with them and share with them, because in a way I think it's a back and forth, it's a conversation, and it's part of this process.
Yeah, this is an interesting question. This if people, do they care what kind of energy system, for example, we have in our centers, and we don't have the data. We haven't asked. We don't know if they come to our center more if we have this sustainable solutions, for example. But that is for sure would be really interesting to have a research about it. But my personal opinion is that I think people are getting into it, at least in Finland. It's something that it's in media, like sustainability and stuff. It's in media almost every day, at least before this corona, that is in media every day now. But the other thing we are thinking that does this kind of solutions, sustainable investments, do they go to the value of the properties, and how well? So that's also a question that we are thinking here in our development team, so we could get more of these sustainable solutions to our other centers as well. But we are trying to do everything to show and to give information to our customers and citizens of Espoo to show that we are building this Lippulaiva and what kind of solutions we are having. And one example of is that in Lippulaiva we are constructing also a small playground area for kids inside the Lippulaiva, and it's with the energy theme. And we are showing them with like proper way for kids, for example, that how energy is produced and the energy that we are using in Lippulaiva, how is it produced on site in our block, Lippulaiva block. And of course, we will have an energy screen for other customers as well, but different ways of showing to citizens what we are doing.
So it's important to show, and also I see that you already started communicating all those topics to the future customers, but also to the future people which will live there. So I think that's very important. And I think now we moved into the planning of such a district. And one of my questions also is, so you planned a playground. Did you also consider other factors, for example, like that are not directly tied to energy? So for example, mobility. So how did you consider them?
Yes, we like mobility, sustainable mobility solutions is also one of the key themes in Lippulaiva, at least within Sparks project. So Lippulaiva will be in the cross points of different mobility systems. So we will have metro and we will have bus terminal. So it's in that sense, it's an important location. Then we will have lots of charging stations for electric cars. We will have charging capacity for electric bikes as well. And now Sparks has been actually a very important part of this when we are considering and planning these mobility systems together with Espoo City, who is also, of course, important partner in Sparks. So we are, for example, at the moment we have made a questionnaire for Espoonlahti citizens about micromobility solutions that citizens, what kind of micromobility solutions citizens would like to have, what are the problems that they feel that in Espoonlahti area where Lippulaiva will be, what are the problems in there, and in this way, together with the other partners of Sparks, we are doing this type of work. We try to also have city bikes to Espoonlahti, Lippulaiva as well, that is run by Espoo City. So we hope to have we hope that people would get rid of their cars or old cars as well, at least. I mean.
That's super interesting. I just saw Gretel also nodding. So I think considering also different factors is very important. Even though you focus on energy, at least you should spend a little bit time on like also consider and thinking about like, is there anything else which should be at least considered partly? Are there additional topics, additional I would call it themes, which which can be considered and which can be helpful for example, a municipality company which plans to start a first project on this topic, and maybe also combining topics. What do you think, Gretel, is maybe useful for the future?
Well, I think there are a few elements there. I think for all these transformation and all these movement towards smart cities, we have to be aware of the role of data. So, I mean, this is a fundamental piece of all these systems that we're putting all these new technologies, innovative technologies, to understand better, to collect more data about the urban systems, to understand better how they react to the different challenges or the different changes that we are introducing. And so in that sense, we have to put data and consider it as a central resource and taking care of it as the resource that it is, or really making sure that quality is maintained over time, that we make sure that the ownership systems or governance systems are in place. So we have clarity not only from the company and city side, but also from the citizen side on who owns the data, who can access data, who can manage the data, and how those processes are established. Also in parallel, that we have the right organization and the structures to lead these projects. So as we are seeing, we cannot tackle carbon neutrality from just one perspective, one sector. So now more and more, all these challenges are requiring these multidisciplinary collaboration between different sectors inside municipalities. But I think it's also for companies to understand that whenever they want to approach the challenges that cities are facing and offer them solutions, they will have to think about all these problems from a more integrated way. And in that way, collaborating with other companies that can provide solutions to other aspects that are not in the normal offer of that company. I think that could also really enhance the development of solutions that really respond to the challenges that our cities have today. And I think finally, getting the money right, that's always a key piece, getting funding right and financing. So really exploring all these other aspects, other possibilities on how we can pay for these projects, really being creative on how to get the money, and really making sure that in integrating these different stakeholders, we can also make sure that we also build on that capacity.
Good. I think that was a super cool discussion. I just want to now round it up a little bit with a question which I'm asking myself sometimes, and I want to ask this question also to Kaisa and to Gretel. And the question is like, what would be your moonshot? So, which we can reach in 2030, 2040. So, what would be like the coolest thing that could happen here in Europe when we really tackle all those challenges? So maybe, Gretel, do you want to start? And then I hand over to Kaisa.
Yeah. Well, I think we're always dreamers. In the work we do, we're also thinking how we can make cities, the places we live, better. And I think that moonshot could be really to make cities carbon neutral. I still think that even achieving that goal is kind of a moonshot. But I would add the element that this transition is the most, the most sustainable, not only in environmental terms, but also that people benefit the most as well. So we really do not create more gaps or inequalities across the different sectors. And I think that's the element that I would like to see it, not only that we make sure that we, reach a point where we live in this planet in the most balanced way, but also among us, that there are not more inequalities created, and that we also bridge those gaps.
Yeah, hard question. I really wish that we would all over the world, we would like have the sustainability, and we would reach the goals of sustainability that we are now setting, or that those that have been set already. Some days I'm pessimistic, and some days I'm more positive about it, that it will happen. And as Gretel just said, if we look at the cities, I'm also living in Helsinki city centrum with we have a family of 2 kids, so I'm really hoping that all the people in cities that we could, because we are the ones living there, and we should be participating more. I really wish that we would have more opportunities to say what kind of needs we have, and those would happen. So I'm not sure if I answered your question, but difficult question.
That was super cool, and that goes directly hand in hand with also what I would answer. So I think my moonshot would be that a sustainable city, a sustainable district, a carbon neutral district feels for my kids, so for the next young generation, feels normal. So for them, it's just like walking on streets. It is for us, or it's just like a normal thing, and they always do. So sustainability is not something new. For them, sustainability is just like a hygiene factor and not like a bonus pro factor. And that would be my moonshot for really, hey, that would be the next step. So it's really like, okay, that's the foundation. And then we can focus on really on the urban life, on like the urban vibe, to really enjoy that we are living in a city and that we have like all those lovely people around us, and create meaningful and purposeful connections. Thank you very much. So I will try to round it up and to sum it up with like 4 key takeaways for today. And so the first one is like, don't go alone. Go with others together if you're starting this way. The second is like, we always need to look not on one small thing. We need to look on a bundle of objectives. So we need the holistic view to really create this urban transition. Also, think about the problems from an integrated way. So don't take the problems alone. So try to make them connected. And at last, explore all funding opportunities. So not only the ones which are obvious, but also there are many ways of PPPs, including stakeholders, and like getting creative there to get the funding to realize all those projects. And from that, I want to say a big thank you to Kaisa and to Gretel for joining this discussion. I hope it was very, very cool for the whole group. And if there are any other questions about the topic, if you want to have the slides, just we can send them out later afterwards, or Anne can send it out. And like, call to action, hey, please join the Bable community to really start doing and to find the right partners. And thank you all for also for the eWorld for giving us here the stage to talk about this topic. And I think it's very important that we now start talking on this.